the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Well, what a boring week in the golf world this week, huh? Unbelievable. I don't know what we even want to talk about today. Just kidding. What a crazy week this week was, and still going. Remember, it is only Thursday. What a crazy week in golf this week, and we'll get into all of it. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Calabro. Welcome to this GolfNewsRI podcast. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday and having a great week and getting ready for the weekend. So obviously a ton to get into. We're going to start with the Jon Rahm news. I'm taping this at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And we put a story up. There's been multiple reports saying that the Jon Rahm to Live Golf is done. It hasn't officially been announced yet. It's supposedly going to be either announced later today or tomorrow, prior to the Live Golf broadcast of basically the Q School event. So it's expected to be announced imminently. It's a done deal. It's been confirmed by pretty much everybody at this point. And so we'll start with that. A huge kind of kick in the nuts for the PGA Tour as they're trying to get this, they're just weeks away from trying to hammer out this deal with the Saudi Public Investment Fund. And now Jon Rahm leaves the tour to go to Live. And according to some reporting by Dan Rappaport of Barstool, and who's obviously been a long-time golf writer, the PGA Tour is in chaos. And it's the whole thing is kind of a mess. So Jon Rahm is to Live. Supposedly he signed a deal worth $500 million is a number that I'm seeing reported. Some people are saying 600. So either way, a ton of money basically is what he's going for. And it's really amazing. I talked to Jon. Well, I didn't talk to him, but I was at his press conference last year at the U.S. Open at Brookline, and he talked about how the Live Golf is not really for him. The shotgun starts, and a few other things. He said that was just the $400 million wouldn't change his life, etc. Let me pull the quote up for you. We cited it in our story. Oops. He said this was from last year at the country club at Brookline. Jon Rahm said, "Shotgun 3 days to me is not a golf tournament. No cut. I want to play against the best in the world in a format that's been going on for hundreds of years. Would my lifestyle change if I got $400 million? Not one bit." That was him in 2022 at the U.S. Open. Remember when the U.S. Open came to Brookline? That was really kind of the very beginnings of the Live Golf. I mean, I think Live had just had their first tournament, and so that was in the very beginnings of kind of Live Golf and what it was to become. And now look where it is now. So huge news. $600 million for Jon Rahm. Supposedly he's in New York today finalizing the deal. And again, an announcement is imminent. Again, I'm taping this at 3:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, so we haven't had an announcement yet. I've been trying to wait a little bit to see if it becomes official, just to have some official thing to go off of, but it seems like it's pretty much done. The Wall Street Journal reported it, ESPN's reported, a Golf Channel. Everybody now is pretty much saying it is confirmed and going to happen. So big kick in the nuts for the PGA Tour. Who knows what the future of it is going to be? That's still up in the air. Supposedly the deal with the Saudi Public Investment Fund is in jeopardy. And so unbelievable. So wild a couple of days. It seems like the Jon Rahm story has been breaking for days, for a while. It seems like he's been rumored previously, like that past couple of years. There's always been rumors about him going to Live Golf. It makes sense with Sergio and those guys over there now, but now it seems to be official. Finally, the rumors rumors have kind of come true. So Live Golf continues to build. They now have essentially three of the top 5 or so players in the world, with Jon Rahm, Cam Smith, Brooks Koepka, not to mention Dustin Johnson and Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau and a handful of other guys. They also have 11 major winners on their roster. The entire PGA Tour roster has 12 major winners. So Live is seemingly catching up to them roster-wise. Remember when Rich and I did a podcast when Live first started, and we were looking at the roster, and half of these guys were like, "Who the hell are these guys? You never heard of them." And now, pretty much, you've heard of every player on the Live roster for the most part, other than occasional occasion a couple, one or two players here or there, but for the most part, every player there. So huge day for Live Golf, huge signing for them, and a rough day for the PGA Tour. So it will be interesting to see what happens with Jon Rahm. He supposedly is getting his own team in either right away or in the near future. So that's part of the plan there. There's also been some live trades, which I didn't really understand, but there were live trades this morning. So there was that too. But the big news, of course, Jon Rahm leaving the PGA Tour and going to Live Golf for approximately somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million, could be $600 million. We don't have the official numbers yet. And again, the deal has not been officially announced yet by Live, but all reporting indicates that it's going to happen. So that is sort of the lead story in golf. That's the biggest thing going on right now in golf, and it's pretty wild stuff. So now the question is, again, this comes weeks before the public investment deal is they have to reach an agreement. I know Tiger talked about that at his press conference last week of the Hero World Challenge. And so this all kind of adds up now to where are we? Where is the game of golf? Is this whole situation seems like kind of a mess. So we'll continue to follow it. Once the announcement becomes official, we'll put something up on it. But Jon Rahm to Live Golf seems to be a done deal. So big day for a wild day for golf, big day for Live. Not a bit, obviously a good day for the PGA Tour. And you wonder again, lots of questions about the future of it, the future of golf for sure, and just in general, or future professional golf anyway, just in general. And it's just the whole thing seems to be in chaos. At least that's been some of the reporting. So that's the lead story. What do you guys think about Jon Rahm going to Live? Will this make you watch Live more, less? Or just not, or not at all. But certainly is a big story. Feel free to comment below with some of your thoughts on the move. I know early reaction on our Facebook page. There are a few thumbs downs. People weren't that excited about it. So that is. Yeah, so Mike Hannon comments on the article about Jon Rahm, says, I think Seve would be proud. After all, he was the first European to demand appearance fees and got them. How many millions did Tiger get just to show up? Probably lots of millions, I guess. So yes, so comments like that. And it's interesting. It's certainly been a fascinating few days. Again, this Jon Rahm story seemed like it's been breaking for days, and it finally seems like it's official in some capacity. So that was the lead story. That's the biggest news in the golf world at the current moment. If it wasn't for Jon Rahm, if it wasn't for the Jon Rahm news, the biggest news in the golf world would be the golf ball rollback. As GolfNewsRI reported last week and then kind of re-reported in, if you will, this week, the USJ and the R&A, the governing bodies of golf, have announced the universal rollback of the golf ball starting in 2028 for professionals and 2030 for recreational golfers and players like us. So the original thought, maybe there was going to be some bifurcation, meaning two separate rules, kind of like in baseball, where college they have metal bats, pros they have wooden bats, something like that. But that is not the case. It's a universal rollback, which means the ball is going to roll back for everybody. And again, 2028 is for the pros, 2030 is for amateurs and recreational golfers. So that was the big news. We knew it was kind of coming. We knew this thing was kind of being worked on. And now here it is. So my initial thoughts, it's interesting because for me, one, I don't think it's going to affect me. Like, I'm not going to notice a difference, right? It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to notice 5 yards. I was talking to John O'Clair yesterday at Kirkbride. He says he doesn't think he would probably notice a difference either. But some people are going to notice a difference. Certainly the pros, at least on their tee shots, are going to notice a difference when it's 12 yards or 15 yards, whatever the numbers are. I think the USGA said that it's going to impact pros, probably 12 to 15 yards or something along those lines. For us, it's only going to be 5 yards, supposedly. So we won't notice difference, but for those guys, it will be a difference. And people were really passionate about this on not necessarily on the GolfNewsRI Facebook page, although there were certainly some comments, but on my personal Facebook page, people were really going to battle over it. It was pretty interesting, to be honest with you. There's just a couple of comments. This is on my own personal Facebook page, so from people commenting. Seth Mandeville says, apparently you really need to be able to smash the ball to really notice the difference. I don't think normal dudes can press the ball enough for it to really make all that huge of a difference. Again, so it's like I was saying, it's not going to matter for us necessarily, but for some of the pros and perhaps the top amateurs, I'm interested to see if, guys like Bobby Leopold and Brad Valoy and Mike Hamilton, Ty McCormick, etc., if those guys will notice a difference. But the other part of this is too, for me, is, and there's some of the great conversation. Some of it I can't read because of curse words, but there's some interesting conversation there. So this whole thing has made interesting conversation, I think, for everybody with the golf ball rollback. The thing for me is like it's just so far away. It's not happening right now. So like we're not going to see it in the pros until 2028. Who knows if we'll notice or not? I mean, certain things could change by then. I know there's a ton of pushback. A lot of the ball companies are pushing back. We put up statements from Bridgestone on Thursday morning or afternoon, I guess. We put up the statement from Titleist. So a lot of the companies are pushing back. And 2028 is a long way away, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'm interested to see what it looks like and then sort of form an opinion from there. Rory McIlroy's for it. Tiger seemed to be for it. He said he wanted bifurcation, but he's for the rollback, and so that's this. If it wasn't for the Jon Rahm stuff, that would be obviously the biggest news of the week. And again, I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'm interested to see what it looks like in 2030 for us players. Are we going to notice anything different? I mean, probably not. Like John Leclerc told me, probably not. But I mean, you never know. So if your ball ends up 5 yards short of the green, is that the rollback or is that you just didn't hit a good shot? Who's to say? And especially at our level, right? With us hackers, especially at our level, who's to say it was a rollback or who's to say we just didn't hit it good enough? So that is two major stories this week in the world of golf. Both are just creating conversation all over the place. And so for me, that's exciting. So what do you guys think about the rollback? I know a lot of you have already commented anyway. What do you think about Jon Rahm? Feel free to comment in the comments below, or I guess they're on the side. Either way, comment, give your thoughts. I know many of you already have on social media, whether it's commenting on our post, commenting on my personal post. But two major stories in the golf world this week, and the week's not even over yet. So who knows what else is going to happen? You never know. Things are happening fast, it appears. Anyway, so we hit Jon Rahm, we hit the golf ball rollback. We've been putting up the statements. Check out all the news on golfnewsri.com. If you missed anything, the title statement is pretty interesting as well. And the other big story that we're following, and that is actually on the TV right now in front of me, although I think it feels like coverage is about to end. So perhaps it's just ending now. It's a little bit before 4 o'clock. Anyway, is Billy Andrade and Brett Quigley playing in this World Champions Cup down in Florida? We reported on this thanks to Billy for sharing our Instagram post, which is pretty cool. He shared our Instagram story to his because I tagged him, so pretty cool of him to do that. But Billy and Brett are both playing in this tournament. Basically, it's the Ryder Cup for the senior tour. Champions, it's basically the Champions Tour Ryder Cup, is what I'm trying to say, if I could speak clearly. And so far it's been pretty interesting. I've been flipping back and forth between this and some other stuff on television. I know the basketball playoffs are starting soon. I've actually been watching some of the college volleyball NCAA tournament. So the format's been pretty interesting. It's match play, but it's not like straight match play. You earn points, and for teams earn points, and it's kind of played out that way. It's not like a straight match play like the Ryder Cup is. So it's a pretty interesting format. They've had the score right on the bottom of the screen the whole time, and now of course the one time I need to see the score, they don't have it. But it's it's Team USA versus Team International versus Team Europe. So each group is a sixsome, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, a lot different than what we're used to. So each one is a sixsome. It's played at the Concession Golf Club in Florida. And so it's on TV tomorrow. Saturday, there's no television coverage as it's a pro-am. And then Sunday singles. We have the full schedule on our website at golfnewsri.com, so you can find out where to watch Billy Andrade and Brett Quigley. I missed the morning session on Thursday morning. There's a morning session and an afternoon session. So hopefully Billy and Brett get to play together at least once, just to entertain Rhode Islanders. But it's cool to see them involved. Cool to see them playing pretty well. I know they're both, from what I've seen, they're both playing pretty well. To this point, obviously, long way to go. The U.S. is right in the mix. Again, the one time I need to see a score, I can't see the score. There is no score at the moment, but it's been pretty interesting to watch with sixsums and the whole thing. So the coverage is on ESPN, and then in the mornings it's on ESPN Plus. So we'll be following that, of course. We had the story yesterday. Again, the full schedule for broadcast schedule and everything else you can find it in the article on our website at golfnewsri.com. So that is what is going on in the world of golf. It's a wild week for sure, and it's not even over yet. So again, Lord only knows what's going to happen next. There's certainly going to be fallout. The deal with the Saudis is kind of closing in. They have to reach an agreement, or else disaster could strike, because the PGA Tour, as Bob Harig reported, does not have the funds to keep kind of paying out these big purses, according to Bob. So a wild time in golf. Golf balls are rolling back. People are pissed about that. So I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. You always hear about growing the game, and then you wonder. I'm not saying that it's not growing the game. I mean, I think there's certainly positives to the golf ball rollback with the courses, and especially for the pros, for the courses, but just in general, certainly some of the stuff makes you wonder. So interesting stuff. So pretty good for December though. Hey, we'll take it. We need the content around this time of year. So that's pretty good. So other things coming up that we have are obviously we'll have our end of year content. The 10 biggest stories, or the 10 best podcasts, or whatever we do. We usually do with hyperlinks everywhere, sort of recap the year. So that's always fun. That always comes out. We always do that around Christmas. So if you're looking forward to that, catching up on some old stories, certainly there's been a number of huge stories this year. So that's really fun. It's always a fun thing to put together. So check that out. And also, you should all be getting, hopefully, you should all be getting your merch in from the Cyber Monday order. So this is the black and white GolfNewsRI trucker hat. I'm waiting for the other one to come in, but you should all be getting them. So the biggest thing you need to do, first of all, again, thank you to everybody who bought stuff for our Cyber Monday thing. We actually we did decent. We're not, certainly we're no foreplay podcast or barstool or anything like that, but we did pretty good, better than we usually do. It's amazing what happens when you put a little bit of effort into it. So thanks to everybody who bought stuff. The next step is, when your stuff comes in, put it on social media, brag about it, say how great it is, say how cool the hats look, and so that way maybe other people will be interested. Spread the word, as they say. So thanks to everybody for that. So you should all be getting your stuff in if it hasn't come in already. And again, thank you very much to everyone who contributed to the Cyber Monday deal. So that is what we have this week. Before anything else crazy happens. So yeah, crazy week in golf. Certainly a big news week. Big on the Jon Rahm story, John Leclerc comments, apparently that extra 100 mil made a difference. In any event, I don't blame him one bit. I've been trying to see what Liv would pay me. They need to up their offer. So far, they offered to charge me only $1,000 for a ticket to an event. So that's pretty funny. So people have fun with it. Again, all this stuff is certainly creating lots of conversation, which is great for us. And it should be interesting to see what happens as it continues to play out. But the biggest story is, of course, Jon Rahm to Live and the golf ball rollback. So that is kind of where we are, and those are the stories that we are following, for sure. So yeah. So with that said, before anything crazy happens, no new news on Jon Rahm front. It looks like, as they haven't been. Doesn't seem like they've officially announced yet, so perhaps that announcement will come tomorrow, or maybe they'll do the 5 o'clock news dump thing. Love when people do that. So that's where we are. Check out the World Champions Cup on ESPN and ABC this weekend. Brett Quigley and Billy Andre are both playing. We'll be following it from start to finish. Again, I think the U.S. right now is kind of hanging in points wise. They were trailing Europe, but then they had temporarily taken a 1 point lead on Europe. And I'm kind of watching Billy Andre have a big putt right here, right in front of me, as I try to drag out the show a little bit. And he's going to miss it to the left. But the U.S. is right in the mix. Again, it's points. It's not straight match play. So it's pretty interesting for sure. So anyway, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the day or the night. Enjoy the Patriots game if you're going to torture yourself and watch that. And then enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you all weekend long on golfnewsri.com. Obviously, lots of things happening. It's been a crazy week, so be sure to stay tuned to our website all weekend long for updates, news, and other things. Thanks so much, everybody. Hope you have a great week, great night, and we'll talk to you next time. This is Golf News Ride Podcast.